So this is the upstream part of the culvert. It's so dry that no water is in this stream where it usually is. But the entrance to the culvert is right here. The ground has collapsed over the culvert, so even less water can get through, which is very problematic. The sediment is going to pile up against it even more. There have been a number of high water events that the water has actually gone up this hill into the road and covered the road because of this constriction of this culvert, which is very problematic, especially when the water's moving that fast and there's that much of it. It can really do some damage to the road, not to mention the damage it does to the river. This is one of the culverts that the town is working on replacing. It's undersized, and you can see that there's this large pool. It's hard for migrating fish to move upward because they would have to make that jump into the culvert, and it's not a natural bottom. As the water comes out of the undersized culvert, it creates a scour pool. The town of Washington, with the help of the Westfield River Wild and Scenic Committee, is actually working on replacing some of these culverts. We are very lucky in Massachusetts to have the Division of Ecological Restoration that has grants to assist in this process.
Hello everyone, my name is Natalia and I'm a returning intern for the Wild and Scenic Committee this year.
And I'm Isaac. I'm a new intern for the summer of 2024.
We are currently on Savory Brook, which is one of the headwater tributaries to the west branch of the Westfield River. We are here to check out what the new stream crossing looks like. We're currently upstream of the crossing, which is right here. River right and river left are determined by looking in the downstream direction, and then left or right facing downstream are known as river left and river right. Just some terminology for you. About 3 years ago, the Wild and Scenic Interns started managing the knotweed at this particular site using the Caro-Frost method, which is a method that we've been developing over the last couple of years specifically to suppress small patches of knotweed, and we're continuing with that method this year, and it's showing us really positive results. I don't see any knotweed here at this point, which is a really, really great sign.
How large was the other culvert that collapsed?
From this side, you couldn't even actually see the opening because the rocks that had been stabilizing that bank there had all collapsed on top of it. It's a much larger pipe than the one that came before. Something I appreciate about it is that it's got a natural bottom that matches the stream grade itself. So animals like minks, who are okay in dark passages, they're not sort of turned away by the lack of light inside the structure, will be using this passage, which is great. Modern stream crossing standards in Massachusetts dictate that the width of the structure has to be at least 1.2 times the bankful width of the stream itself. So now we're gonna go see the downstream, and if you're brave enough, we can go through the crossing itself. I think that's what I'm gonna do because it's fun. Got a lovely natural bottom here with good dry passage. Welcome to the inside of the culvert. As you can see, there's a natural bottom across the entire thing. We have some interesting structures here, including rocks like this one right here, are placed very deliberately in order to slow down the flow of water. What this kind of thing also does is that it accumulates sediment directly behind it. And this also helps augment the amount of dry passage in the structure. Having a large amount of complexity within the structure is really good because it allows the natural processes of sediment accumulation to occur, and then that facilitates dry passage for wildlife.
As you can see, these amphibians make great use of this culvert as a stream crossing. It's better than down here than up on the road where they get smushed by cars.
And here we are on the downstream side.
Wow, I never expected this internship to include me walking through a giant metal culvert.
Isn't it so fun? One thing to note about the outlet of this culvert previously before the replacement is that it was slightly perched above the stream bed. So you had the water right here, and then the culvert was up here, and so you had a little waterfall. And this is an issue for fish passage because we don't have many species of fish that are able to jump those types of lengths. And so it prevented, in a big way, fish passage from going further upstream. And it's really important that we have fish passage that is accessible to them because a lot of fish that breed in the headwater streams require cold water fisheries in order to breed. Covered tributaries that have a lot of shade from the trees are really important access points. Modern stream crossing standards dictate that there is a natural bottom, which we do have here, and that the culvert itself is at the stream grade, meaning that they're at the same height, so you avoid both a waterfall effect or the culvert itself getting buried under sediment. Another benefit of having a natural bottom is to serve as habitat and protection for both fish and macroinvertebrates. Macroinvertebrates specifically find shelter underneath rocks. When you have a non-natural stream bottom where there is no protection, a lot of times macroinvertebrates won't be able to find those little sheltering spaces. And it's also why it's important to keep small grain sediment out of these rivers as much as possible so you don't fill in the spaces that otherwise would be inhabited by macroinvertebrates. Fish also benefit from a natural bottom in a number of ways. Oftentimes we'll have short bursts of energy and going through the more faster moving water, they'll sort of zip through that part and then find a little pool that's a lower energy area of water and rest there for a second before going on to the next one. And so they need these sort of like pool and ripple features patterned with each other, overlaid with each other in order to successfully navigate the stream corridor.